I thought Quantico was a little bit too fast. I think there was room for them to slow down, do a bit more character development. I found myself quite confused about where I was, which time I was in.
Oh, I thought you meant
that.
Literally where you were.
No, not literally where I was. Like, was I watching the current or the flash forward or the flashback? I didn't know. Also, very much like How to Get Away with Murder, it's based around the college of it, the Quantico. So there's that big Union Student Hall thing, where they all sit in the chairs raised up like a cinema in front of somebody teaching them. The teacher's got a past, he's an FBI agent with a past, so it's a bit cliched there. But overall, very good. But definitely needs to be concentrated, and you can't watch that and play Candy Crush, I'll tell you.
I'd like to just briefly discuss The Americans, which returned to FX and last night, actually, in the States, and will be coming back to ITV Encore at some point before Christmas. That is literally all I can tell you about the UK debut. All I will say about this is it is... Matt and I raved about the final episodes of the third series, yeah, and this is absolutely fantastic. I think I've discovered what I get drawn to in the television drama is people. I'm not bothered about the fact that they are spies. I'm bothered about the effect that them being spies has on their relationships, their lives, what's going on with him. As good as Breaking Bad was, I wasn't bothered that Walter White was, becoming a drug dealer. It was about what his actions, what effect they had on his family and his life, and what that drew in. I'm fascinated by people, and it's something we're going to talk about with Happy Valley in a bit as well, in as much as I wasn't drawn into that for the mystery, but what happened to Catherine Kaywood and things. And there are moments in The Americans where you just think the people making it, they give you the sense that they know exactly what they're doing. Spoiler if you haven't seen the third series, I'm sorry, but there's a bit where the daughter now knows that they are Russian spies. She knows they are not American, which makes her not American. So there's a bit where they're in class and they have to do the Pledge of Allegiance, which is something I did in school there for 15 years. And it's every morning in the classroom you go, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. All that. So they're all doing that. And of course she's now conflicted because she knows she's not American.
But was she not born in America?
I don't know, but now it's changed her.
Be honest, you weren't born in America. How did you feel saying that every day?
Well, I mumbled it, but the point of the scene is to show you that her attitude towards herself is so damaged by what she's learnt, and it's a very small scene that may pass you by when you eventually see it. But it's a very important scene because it shows you that her learning things has changed the whole way
she's
she
a fantastic
feels about
actress,
herself.
Isn't she? I've not seen it yet myself. Can't remember her name.
Holly Taylor.
Holly Taylor.
Holly Taylor. She's brilliant. There are things in this that moves the plot forward as well, which I won't spoil. I would not want anyone to spoil it for me. What I like about it, again, is just that feeling that Sally Wainwright gave you in Happy Valley and Vince Gilligan gave you in Breaking Bad, is that you know that the people that are making it have the show's best interest at heart. And so many shows nowadays just fall off a cliff at the end. And The Kings with
The Good Wife as well, I think.
Exactly. So many shows just fall off a cliff at the end, and they go on too long, and people lose interest with them, and creators leave. And
then they get brought back 10 years later on Netflix.
Exactly, it's just one of those shows that if it goes on for one more series, maybe two, I think they could do it. But it's just nice to feel that way about a programme again. I loved it.
You want me to do a bit on the Real O'Neills, or is it not worth talking?
Yeah, go on, we'll do it, because I will watch it.
We were talking sort of generally, and this, I suppose we could link in the Goldbergs to this as well, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Which is on E4. Well, it was until tonight, and now they've sort of rested it for a bit. It was on 7:30, the Goldbergs, and a show called The Real O'Neills, which is another new family sitcom. Stars Martha Plimpton's the only person I sort of recognised in this cast. who was was it Raising Hope she was in before? Basically what we're talking about is why can't the UK do a good family sitcom?
I don't know. I suppose Outnumbered is the closest we've
But if
come.
you think about, and you've talked about this before, that the networks can get away with doing like pre-watershed sitcoms based around the family.
And they do a lot of them.
Yeah, our pre-watershed comedies often come across as a bit dated, a bit,
Soft.
You can get away with certain things at 8:30 still,
Yeah.
but you can't. Look at the soaps.
They've tried some comedies after 10:30, and they've all been awful.
But what we're talking about, Gary,
No, we're talking about family comedy.
like comedies set around a family unit. So, for example, as Luke said, I suppose Father Figure. The only one I can think of recent memory, pre-Watershed, was something called In with the Flynns. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember
crikey.
that.
God, Will Mellor strikes again.
Will Mellor and Craig Parkinson.
I just don't think that TV channels are interested in commissioning.
Whereas in the States, we all really like the Goldbergs, and me and Luke this week have watched their annual movie parody episode, which was Dirty Dancing.
Right.
Also, the Real O'Neills, which is this thing. I think again, it's written from the perspective of its creator, whose name I'm not sure of.
O'Neill.
He's a gay man, and this sort of first episode, he's the sort of middle child of this like really Catholic family, like an Irish Catholic family. They never talk about their feelings. And the first episode is basically them letting everything out, and it's seen through the eyes of Kenny O'Neill. He's the middle child, and in the first episode he basically discovers he's gay, and at the end he comes out, and all these secrets come out. The parents are getting divorced, the older brother has anorexia because he's trying to make weight for his wrestling team, and the sister has been basically stealing money that she's been raising for charity and has bought a car
that was my favourite little side plot, that actually.
It's a good sort of pace to it. I really like Martha Plimpton, and I like Noah Galvin, who plays Kenny. It is very Goldberg-esque in the way it tells its story, as it's sort of told from the point of view of the creator. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of good family. There's some bad ones as well. I tried another one,
bad ones.
called Life in Pieces, which was I don't know what that.
And
I've given Modern Family about 3 goes, and I can't get it.
Modern Family, and The Middle is one that's extreme.
Mum's all right as well.
I wouldn't say Mum was.
That's not pre-Watershed.
No, it's not. But we're talking about.
I wouldn't say it was a family sitcom, really.
Not at all.
No, traditional
it's based around a family, but it's a dysfunctional family.
A nuclear family, sort of like the Goldbergs or the Real O'Neills.
Maybe we should write the sitcom that's missing. No,
it's a shame something like Modern Family, which was so good in its heyday, is now just for me floundering in.
Is it?
It's trying to keep the kids there when clearly they shouldn't be. They should have families of their own and things.
That was the problem with
outside.
Outnumbered, wasn't it? Eventually, the kids have grown up.
It's a problem that all comedies based around children have, and often the parents end up having more children. I've seen that a load, that they have babies. And
it happened in the Cosby Show. Oh no, we can't mention that.
Don't mention the Cosby Show. No.
Have you told your friends about this podcast?
Okay, here we go.
No?
It's just not my idea of a good time.
Tell them now.
That's what the people want to hear.
This is the Custard TV Podcast.
Good to the last drop.
From thecustardtv.com.
2 finales, then. Let's start with Happy Valley.
This was fan-flaming-tastic. When episode 5 finished, I thought, how can we just have 1 hour left? There's so many loose ends that need tying up, and Sally Wainwright is of such a gift that she can just tie up all those loose ends and make you feel satisfied. They were done with such ease. It was just brilliantly paced. Genuinely, I laughed a lot throughout this. Really funny moments, like when the guy put the handbrake on.
The best bit is the negotiation scene for me, where
I haven't done the negotiating course. What should I be telling you to do?
Where John Wandsworth, the Kevin Doyle character, is threatening to jump after it's been revealed that he is the one who killed Amelia Bullmore's character, Vicky Fleming, as is always the way, Catherine Kaywood finds herself as the one who's sort of been launched into danger and has to talk him down. And it's all about, this course that she hasn't taken yet, and he has, and he's basically telling her what to say to him.
I've not done any negotiating courses. Have you? I'm...
Yeah. Suicide intervention training.
So what should I be saying to you?
Well, you should be telling me that you're here to make sure I get out of this alive.
Yeah, well, I am. I am here for that.
You should use my name a lot.
Okay, John.
You've got to be assertive, reassuring, empathetic and kind. And you've got to listen. You've got to be a good listener. And you have to tell them that even though they can't see a way forward, you can. Now in 24 hours' time, it'll all seem very different to what it might look like now. But you see, it won't. This can only get worse.
How many people have you talked down over the years, John?
17.
Wow.
Never lost one. Not one. One lad jumped before I got there, but apart from him.
So what are you going to do? Mess my record up before I've even started? You take your time. I'll just stand here, okay? I'm not going anywhere, all right? I'll just listen or I'll talk, whichever you prefer. You tell me, Joe.
While all this is going on and you're laughing about, well, you should tell me, you should say this to me, there's real peril there because he's dangling off a bridge, and you think he's not going to really go. And then the moment you stop laughing is the moment where she goes, and he's gone. If anybody asks me what they should be watching and they haven't seen this, they are missing out on.
You just slap them in the face.
It's a masterclass. It really is a masterclass.
And I've said this. I've said this to you. I just love how they link back. If you remember the very first scene of this series,
I do.
It was where Catherine and Claire. Is it Claire, the sister?
Catherine and Claire. Yeah, Claire.
Yeah. Claire, we're talking about the sheep rustling at the farm.
Sheep rustling.
And the mother and son at the farm. And the last scene of the series is Catherine and Claire talking about the mother and the son at the farm. But obviously in a different context, this being that the revelation that the Susan Lynch character, the mother, was actually raped by her father. And so basically gave birth to her brother and has struggled to sort of look after him. And then they brought that theme to Ryan and Troubled Beginnings and him being Tommy Lee Royce's son and all that. And the look that Sarah Lancashire gave at the end was just terrific. And it just
some people missed that. And I've so nearly missed it because you've had 55 minutes of pure action. And then there's that moment where they're relaxing, you're relaxing, and then you notice she's looking at him in a certain way, and you think, hang on, the realization that this could be who this boy that I love now could turn into.
Yeah, but you say that as well. You said to me or to us that this episode had a lot to wrap up, but they basically did solve one of the major mysteries in the 5th episode about who the serial killer was.
But
I think there was a lot to wrap up with John, and then the sort of Shirley Henderson stuff as well, which I thought was really well handled.
I think it just shows what a good series it is, because at no point was I disappointed.
No.
At no, for me it wasn't about who was killing the prostitutes. It was a good payoff at the end of episode 5, but the show wasn't about that. For me, the show was about exploring these people, who they were, why they were the way they were, and just spending time with such brilliantly
I suppose
written,
we better
well-done
talk
characters.
as well, as it's been quite sort of reported about in the news. Do you think there should be a 3rd series?
Well, no, Sally Wainwright was on BBC Breakfast, and she said there possibly will be, but it's going to take time, and I've got other things going on, so she may be thinking years down the line.
They've left it more open-ended this time around than they did at the end of the last series, I think.
I think they could almost have James Norton as a shadow in the background rather than a
I said
physical
that about
presence.
this series.
Yeah.
And you've already got, or you've still got, I suppose, all the stuff with the Knezoviches. I said we've got 2 finales. We've actually got 3. One we left off